I'm the Community Project Coordinator for Community Arts by ZK, and I have the fun job of setting everything up for this project. A lot of logistics, getting people organised, making sure everyone's in the right place at the right time. So the project came about because we're really excited to explore the diverse community here in Pendle and what home might mean to them. For a lot of people, Pendle isn't their first home, so we're exploring all of these kind of ideas of what it does mean to people, and doing that through art is a way that you can express things without words, without language. So a lot of the ladies, English isn't their first language, and it's a way for them to express how they feel about home and how they feel about where they live. A lot of it's to do with family relationships as well. So we've had a lot of different conversations along the way, and people are interpreting home in very different ways. And that's what we were hoping to get out of the project, to see how people would interpret things, and just using art as a way to explore the concept of home. So we've chosen 3 quite different art forms because we wanted to have a really broad range of techniques for people to explore the concept of home through. We're interested to see where you will take it, because it is up to you how you want to do this and everything. This is going to be the first time that we've got 3 different artists collaborating together on a project. So we've got photography, ceramics and the embroidery, and it will be all put together in a final exhibition of your work. We don't know what that's going to look like yet. It's completely up to you guys how you want to interpret that. Whatever you think of, try it out in this workshop, play around with it, and we'll see what we come up with at the end. Because a lot of the participants on the project are of South Asian heritage, we really wanted that kind of cultural connection as well. So we've been working with Sidra Zubairi. She's a product design artist and she's from Lahore originally. She's been able to talk to the ladies about her experiences of kind of moving around quite a lot and how that's changed her perspective on home. So that's been really interesting for her as a way to connect with the participants on the project. We love her art practice, so she does a lot of work with jewellery making, but it's very socially engaged. We wanted her to bring some of that thought process into the work that she does and the way that she presents those techniques to the participants. And so she's been working with them to create ceramic wearable art and linking that back to their feelings on home, and a lot of them have interpreted that as their kind of cultural heritage as well.
Welcome to the first workshop of Translating Home. I think all your stories are really beautiful, and I can see like an incredible group here, and you have a lot to share through this project. So I want you guys to conceptually think about this project, like how can you bring your ideas into design? Since we'll be working with smaller pieces for now, just to get you guys started with clay. Since I have moved around a lot from Pakistan to Middle East and then to the UK, I have always struggled with the idea of home. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to kind of identify what home means to me personally. Since we're working mainly with the South Asian community located here in Pendle, I think it's great for the participants to talk about their idea of home and where they came from, their roots and their culture and heritage. So I think they can talk about all these ideas through these creative processes of making and kind of indulging in the dialogue of home. I think I can definitely relate to each participant because I know that they have moved from a different part of the world to settle here to make a life of their own. So I think it's nice to hear their stories and hear about their cultural values and how they're kind of living their life here. I'm hoping that each participant will come up with their own unique idea. I want them to kind of talk about these ideas through the pieces that they have developed, because the whole point of the workshop is to not just talk about the concept but also kind of indulge in the creative process of making and working with ceramics and maybe other different materials. So I'm hoping that they would get a chance to kind of introduce themselves to different and new mediums that they have not worked with before.
I do actually feel like I've been sat here for a few hours, a great sense of mental well-being boost. I actually feel good. I've been talking to people mentally. You know, people need this, and you know, I feel a lot better than what I did this morning. So what I'm making today, to do something what reminds you of home. So I'm working on this, and what this is. It's inspired by Joy Division, the music band, what I like to listen to.
I was a bit worried to come along with my two little girls, but we've just been made to feel really comfortable, and I've had a brilliant time, and the kids have enjoyed themselves as well, so yeah, I feel quite relaxed already. So this is a branch, and I'm hoping to have, so it'll be 3 branches with my 3 little girls, and then me and my husband at the top. If you've got your foundation strong, which is your family, which for me is the most important thing, that's home, that's comfort, that's safety for me, around my children, around my husband, around my family. Yeah.
We've been working with Emily Forbes, and we're very lucky to have her as our in-house community artist. She's been working on embroidery with the ladies that are on the project, and she's been getting them to create big tapestries. So each lady has a section of tapestry that they'll be embroidering, also incorporating some kind of photography into that.
So basically the idea behind this part of the project is to make a mixed media tapestry. So this will be with embroidery techniques that we'll be learning today. In weeks to come, we'll be doing applique, block printing. We've already created some ceramic designs which we'll be stitching into the tapestry. If there's techniques that you're wanting to learn or various printing styles, then we can incorporate that into the workshops that we've got coming up, and we'll make it happen. So I'm one of the community artists at Community Arts by ZK, but I'm also one of the lead artists on the Translating Home project. So my side is the textiles embroidery part of the project, and we wanted to find a way for the group to reflect what home meant to them. So I thought that a large tapestry piece which allowed everyone to literally stitch in the different parts of their identity and what home meant to them would be a really fantastic way to incorporate all these different elements in quite a fluid sense. So literally stitching in anything from family to food, culture, and just different things that are important to them. Part of the inspiration came from seeing Grace and Perry's documentary, All in the Best Possible Taste, and they did a fantastic series of tapestries looking at class and identity in Britain. So a lot of the inspiration came from that, and in that they look at people from the things that they wear to the ways they decorate their home to the things they eat for breakfast, and I thought that was just a really fascinating project, and we could translate in a way into this project. We wanted this part of the project to be very mixed media, so that's why I've incorporated ceramics, photography, as well as fabrics and embroidery techniques. So it's been really fun playing around with lots of different stitching techniques. Some of them more simple, a few of them a bit more complicated, but all to create really lovely, vibrant effects. So anything from running stitch to satin stitch, French knots, lazy daisies. I don't know what the name is for one of them, but it makes a lovely little rose. So we've learnt loads of different techniques and developed artistic skills.
Obviously, this area has a real deep history and connection to the textile industry. We ourselves are based in an old cotton mill, so it's really interesting for us to explore art through textiles. A lot of the materials that people are using on this project have a cultural connection, and there's a lot of kind of offcuts and recycled sari fabrics and fabrics that you would get from the bazaars. So it's been really fun to see some of that kind of vibrancy and colour come out in people's work.
This is a very nice opportunity to just let your creative flair come to life. It's nice to go home with something that you've done actually, because normally you buy everything. So it's nice to put your mark on something and make something creative. I'm sure there's going to be lots of use of all the new skills I've acquired, and it's a really nice opportunity to meet people, make new friends. So yeah, I've had a fantastic experience.
I've enjoyed making ceramic pieces like this and playing with the clay and experimenting with different materials right now.
I'm just learning different styles of stitching. I've never done it before, and I want to be able to do a flower or leaves or even a stroke of sea. So that's what I'm trying to practice at the moment.
So we hired Nik Hartley to get involved with the project. He's a really highly renowned photographer, but he actually grew up here in Pendle. So we really wanted that kind of local connection, somebody that understood what it was like to live and grow up in Pendle. He's done a lot of work for Vogue, Vanity Fair, so quite high-end fashion. But he also has quite a passion for documentary photography, so he's done a lot of work around the kind of streets of Pendle and looking at what it's like for working class people in the area. So we were really excited to get him involved because he's got that kind of high-end fashion photography style, but he applies it to kind of street photography, really down-to-earth, local stuff, and that's what we wanted to get out of this project. We've got cameras from Nikon. They've very kindly donated them for use during this project for the ladies to take those cameras home and show us quite literally what their home life is like. So we're really excited to have Nick be part of the project, and I think he's brought a really nice flair to the project as well.
I grew up at the bottom of Carr Road in Nelson, and I left when I was 21. I moved to London, and I was confronted by multiculturalism and people being much more like accepting and not bothered by where their neighbour came from, or like if they had a different religion or if there's a different smell when you walk past their house and they were cooking. And then I would come home at weekends sometimes and I'd see Nelson through London eyes, and it was just like, wow, we're still living in this like divided, segregated thing. And yeah, I wanted to start doing projects around that. I've run a photography module and I taught rudimentary photography skills to encourage the ladies involved to take the cameras home and photograph their homes. I'm trying to get them to be as brave as they can be and show as much of the reality of home life as possible. It's very easy as a white person in Nelson to walk around and make assumptions about the British Asian community, and hopefully in some small way we could show that everybody in Nelson is just an individual and we shouldn't make assumptions about anybody. We all have a creative side, and if we only care to try and access it, we can enjoy ourselves and let something out and have a bit of fun and do something positive. I've had a lot of interesting chats, like from day one. Like the first day I was here and I had to take them one by one and show them how to use the camera. Everybody that I spoke to I had a good conversation with. I learned a lot about them. Everybody was very open with me. Yeah, it's been good for me. I did it to try and help empower the women a little bit in some small way, but also I did it for myself. I'm trying to improve myself, you know?
Photography is a really good way to collect key moments in your life. We all do it. If you've got a phone, you take pictures of your family, your friends, yourself in the mirror. We're all doing it constantly, but we don't think about it because we think it's Instagram or it's Facebook or it's TikTok or it's just pictures of my kids for myself or whatever it is. My role in this project is to try and get you all to take photographs of your own lives, your home lives, in a more conscious way. I want you to document whatever home means to you in whatever way you're happy to do it.
Just being told we can take a camera home to film, take pictures, do whatever we want at home to show what we do day to day.
It's a form of empowerment to be able to use art and express something that is maybe more visual to you, it's more emotional, and that can be interpreted by the viewer of the art as well in whichever way they come to it and bring in their own kind of cultural ideas as well. We've chosen to work on this project with people from South Asian heritage and refugees and asylum seekers, because we value the fact that their experiences of home within Pendle are going to be quite different to a lot of other people's, and it's showing people what home means to them as well. So there's a lot of kind of negative stereotypes around some of these groups, and we really want to dispel some of that by showing their work and showing what home means to them.
I learnt so much from this project, and it made me think about home and how much I should appreciate my environment and my family, and it's helped me develop my skills as well, like some of the techniques, like embroidery techniques, I didn't know how to do before, and now I know, and I can show it to my mum because my mum does sewing at home as well.
I think for me it's important because I start to speak, to communicate with people. I mean, it's very difficult to do it not in my own language here. I'm worried about how I speak here, so big step for me, communicate. And when I understand that I understand people, It's, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
In my childhood, I'm playing with clay, and then I love to make things, or different things. But now I make a necklace with clay. Last week I take homes, I take 2-3 hours, then love and enjoy myself, and then do different things, learn different things, make new friends, and learning more skill like photography. Enjoy that.
I've been really enjoying doing ceramic pieces, relating to my culture and my clothing and my color themes. And tapestry, we've been meeting artists and learning how to do embroidery. My tapestry piece is inspired by peacocks at back homes, and my tapestry color theme is the peacock colors, blue, green, golden. I think that would be really meaningful because that is my home.
It's absolutely amazing. I didn't even think that they had these sort of opportunities in Pendle. I've always been doing art and design ever since I was young. It's always been something I've been good at. I've even designed my own dress, inspired by the gas tower down there, which we'll be shooting with Nick at the end, which I'm very excited for. Just by coming here, it's made me realise, and I've opened my eyes up, that I can actually be the creative I want to be.
I've really enjoyed it, just meeting other women, listening to their experiences, and everyone has a different impression of home. Mine will be totally different to the next woman I was sitting next to. So it was really, really interesting, everyone's experience and listening to each other's, life experiences.
I had learned a lot of things from this class, like I have to make jewelry. Like I did fabric painting and glass painting in Pakistan, but not here.
In my family, we're all like science-based, and I think it's a cultural thing that, you do your sciences and you get a sciencey job, and your art is just for your hobbies and your spare time. So it was always something I liked, but it wasn't something that was pushed to pursue, if you will. We've probably been told to sew at home, but because it's always been mending a button or doing something quite laborious, it put me off the needle. So when we come here and Becca's like showed her work, and I thought, oh my gosh, pick the needle back up, let's have a go, And then the canvas was blank, and I thought, it pushed me to think about how to fill it and what home means. So this ZK art project has made me feel as though I can find some creative spark again. So I'm quite happy now. I've put a sequin on anything I can find. My husband gets a sequin. My children's school bag gets a sequin. Everything's got a bit of sparkle in my life. So yeah, it's done wonders.
I think that the theme is a really fascinating one because home and identity are really interconnected, and there's lots of things about ourselves that we don't often reflect on, and lots of parts of identity can be concealed. And so this project has been a really amazing way for us all to reflect on what home means to us and find ways to explore that. It's been a real privilege working with such a lovely group of ladies and them sharing their stories and seeing what home means to them. And art just really gets you to reflect on yourself, and basically I just want to extend the joy that I have for making art with other people, and so to be able to do that as a job is just a lot of fun and really love it.
So I'm making a tapestry art. Well, it's inspired by Storm Rose's waterfall. So this is the waterfall. In this eyeball here, I'm going to put like Manchester City and some lemons over the top. I just have like my own visions with the music.
On my tapestry, I'm doing a undersea type of vibe. And I'm gonna have seaweed that's flowing off, beading, and I'm gonna get images, photography images that I've took.
We've been working on our tapestry, where I have an idea of making a peacock, applied obliquely, and going on the tapestry and making a traditional Mongolian architecture and mixed with my home feelings.
I've just cut out my tree. I'm about to sew it onto my tapestry, and then with the ceramics I painted like this butterfly kind of thing. They're meant to be earrings, and they go like side by side. So that's for one ear, that's for the other. So they're like matching pieces. So it's meant to represent the 4 seasons all year round, because I'm quite family oriented. So it's like when you're with your family a lot throughout the whole year.
It'll be a combination of embroidery and applique, so Zara's appliqued the back of this brown fabric and then drawn the tree design, cut around that, and now we will iron it onto the fabric.
We're just building patchwork using pieces of fabric and pictures of Farah's family, because her family is very important to her, so it's like the main element of the tapestry. So we'll do some embroidery, some patchwork, ceramics, so it's all gonna come together nicely.
I think there's a bit of Pakistan in there. That's my Indian flag in progress. My mom's Indian. Then I'm gonna have a British flag here. And then, so that's like the background of roots. And then this tree is showing that there's a link between the three places that we translate as home. Let's see what it turns out to be like.
Bringing these three creative practices together, you know, the ceramics and embroidery and photography, this will all come together in an exhibition which will be quite interesting to see, you know, the three different disciplines and how we'll display everything that we have developed in these workshops and how that can be displayed for the exhibition. For my creative practice, I think it is very interesting to indulge with different artists in and around the UK and kind of see how we can kind of collaborate, and not only this project but also for future projects, how we can kind of contribute more for this community.
Today I've been photographing the women, doing portraits to run alongside their pictures and their work in the exhibition. I was keen for us to incorporate portraits of the women within the exhibition because I feel like what we are promoting here is individuality and the women themselves. It's important because when you can see the work next to the person who did it, it makes you look at that person in a different way, potentially. I would say that my approach to today's portraits was I wanted them to come to the session as they wished to present themselves. You want the viewer to look at it and to feel something truthful and positive. And yeah, it's just about setting it all together and trying to give somebody the full picture. I feel that everybody who walked onto set walked on pretty positive, really. A few of them pretended that they were shy about it, but I don't think they really were. Some of the women are really creative powerhouses, and I hope they get a lot out of it.
We really value bringing these kind of arts projects to Pendle. We really want to give people lots of opportunity to engage in lots of different ways. We're always trying to bring in new artists from all over the world and introduce new techniques all the time, so people go away with a new skill that they can take home and perhaps go on to do something for themselves. We're taking people on the journey through just learning some techniques, getting involved with the project, but they, through that journey, become artists in their own right. They're exhibiting their work to the public, and we think that's an amazing opportunity for people, and it really empowers them. When you have an exhibition like that and you see people walk in and they go to find their work and they're just so excited that their work is being exhibited for people to see, and somebody has taken the time and has valued what they have to say and showcased it to the wider public, and that's amazing for the people that we support. A lot of people have told us that before finding projects like ours, they've thought that you have to go to the big cities to find art and to engage with art, and we really want to bring that, make it accessible to everybody in a rural area like Pendle.